The price of eggs keeps going up. We need to find a fix for this. Can you tell people that eggs are bad, that they shouldn't be eating a lot of eggs? And lo and behold, the Surgeon General goes and says, yep, actually eggs have cholesterol and that's not good for you. You should be eating a lot of eggs.
I mean, this seems impossible, right? This seems like something you and I would make up.
I know. It's amazing. They just continue to come, like all of these stories. Like I read about a lot of this stuff from the context of reading about nutrition, reading about the equivalent of the Austrian school in nutrition. There are heretics in nutrition just like us in economics. And they mention those things without much focus on the economic underlying factors, without much understanding of the inflation and so on. But if you have that idea of, if you know what happened with the inflation, then you can connect the dots. And you see, in the 1970s, suddenly all of these government agencies are telling people to eat cheap stuff. And then perhaps the more significant example is the rise of industrial agriculture, which was deliberate government policy. Nixon appointed a guy called Earl Butz as Department of Agriculture Secretary. Earl Butz went to American farmers and said, go big or go home. We need to industrialize. We need to do mass scale farming in order to bring costs down. And so we moved from the model of, small farms, ranches, a family of 6 who have a farm with a few cows and a few crops that they grow and they sell in the local market. All of that became unfeasible in the 1970s. Earl Butz came to all of those small farmers, bought them out or forced them to consolidate and got big, massive corporations to buy up all the land, tear down all of these, small little veggie patches here and there and small little barns, and turn everything into these massive monocropped fields because that's more efficient. And so it's more efficient economically. Yeah, you can make more corn if you have, if you take 100 small farms and you raise everything, 100 small farms with 100 small families, growing various crops, including corn and growing their own animals, you have 100 healthy farms. And if you get into how the soil is managed, you need the animals along with the crops because the crops deplete the soil of nutrients. The animals replenish the soil when they defecate in it. And that's the cycle that keeps the earth healthy and that keeps the soil healthy and fertile. So you take out those 100 farms and you get Archer Daniel Midlands to own those 100 farms and raise everything and turn it all into just one row after row after row of corn with these giant, massive combine harvesters running through it. You make much more corn than you did with the 100 families. But of course, the quality of the corn declines and the nutritious value of the corn declines. So this is what started in the 1970s. It's let's find a way to make food cheaper. And the way that they made it cheaper was to compromise on the quality. And then the other way that they made it cheaper was to compromise the quality and to tell people that it's actually better for you to eat the cheap crap that's making you sick. And that the healthy things that all of your ancestors have eaten for millions of years, the reason that we as human beings became human beings is the fact that we eat meat and that we can hunt it. It's why our brains are so big, because we eat a lot of meat, and that somehow in the 1970s became unhealthy. We've had government being extremely activist in trying to tell people to stop eating meat because it's bad for the environment, because it's bad for you, because it causes heart disease, it causes colon cancer, it's bad for your kidneys. All of that is completely rubbish pseudoscience, and basically inflationist propaganda. The only problem with meat is that it's more expensive and that it's not easy. Well, there's 2 problems. It's expensive and it's not easy to industrialize it and bring costs down like you can with corn and soy and all these other crops. Because with these crops, the more industrial power you bring into the production of the crops, the cheaper you can make them. It's almost like producing plastic goods.